Most people don't actually have a confidence problem, they have a definition problem. Because if confidence was really about motivation, affirmation, or feeling high, then the most motivated people, they would be most confident, but they are not. In fact, the people who are constantly trying to feel confident are usually the most internally unstable. They feel good when things go well and they collapse when things don't, and they call that confidence. But what most people are actually experiencing is emotional dependence, not confidence. And until that is addressed, nothing else works. Confidence is not something you add on top of yourself, it is something you stop outsourcing. Now, most people never consciously arrive at their own definition of confidence because they have mostly inherited it from the world, because the world teaches you that confidence comes from having something, having money, looks, status, validation, result. And if you have it, you feel confident, and the moment you lose it, your confidence disappears. But that's not confidence, that's dependency. Anything that comes from outside of you can be taken away from outside of you. The world operates in polarity. It has ups, downs, gain, loss, win, lose. So when your confidence is tied to the world's definition, it means your internal state rises and falls with reality. And that is why most people feel confident one day and insecure the next. Nothing changed internally, but just reality has moved. And if reality can take your confidence away, it means you never owned it in the first place. You were simply borrowing it. So if your confidence depends on reality, then reality becomes your master. And the moment you need results to feel secure or outcomes to feel confident, you hand your power over to the reality. It means your internal state, it becomes a reaction to what's happening outside of you. It is up when things go well, it is down when things don't. And that's not confidence, that's reaction. And reaction is slavery. Because most people are waiting for reality to change so they can finally feel okay. They tell to themselves that if this works out, I'll feel relaxed. If this works in my favor, I'll feel secure. But that mindset puts reality in charge. And the truth is, reality was never meant to dictate your internal state, but your internal state was always meant to dictate reality. And the moment you reverse that order, you lose the leverage over it. And the more dependent you become on the outcomes, the more anxious and powerless you feel. Because real confidence is just the internal stability, it has nothing to do with what's happening outside of you. And it has nothing to do with how other people perceive you or whether things are going well or not. Confidence is internal security. And most people confuse confidence with arrogance, loudness, or dominance. But confidence is not loud, it's the internal certainty. These loudness, arrogance, they are just the compensation. True confidence is always quiet, it doesn't announce itself. It is the ability to remain internally stable regardless of your external circumstances. If something goes well and you remain the same, that's confidence. If something goes wrong and you still remain the same, that's confidence. So confidence is not emotional spikes, it's emotional neutrality. Relief is relief that you get from the outside, from the reality, is always temporary, but confidence is stable. And most people believe that confidence comes after their reality change, but that order is backward. If confidence comes from reality, then it will fluctuate with reality. And if confidence fluctuate, your conviction collapse. And without conviction, reality has nothing to organize itself around. Because reality, it responds to your internal state, not to your wishes. If you are insecure, while waiting for things to work, then insecurity is the state you are practicing. And whatever you practice becomes familiar. Whatever becomes familiar becomes normal. And then reality organize itself around what feels normal to you, not what you want. So confidence must comes first. Evidence doesn't create confidence, but confidence creates evidence. Waiting for proof before you feel confidence, it simply guarantees delay. And oftentimes on our pathway, there are moments when we feel self-doubt. But you have to understand that self-doubt is not the enemy. Self-doubt shows up when you are stepping into something unfamiliar, when your old state is being challenged. And if you never experience doubt, it would mean that you are never changing. The problem is not doubt, the problem is when you identify with doubt. Most people feel doubt and they immediately assume that it means that they should stop. But doubt doesn't mean stop, doubt simply means it's unfamiliar. And confidence is not the absence of the doubt. Confidence is the ability to remain stable while doubt is present. When you stop reacting to doubt, it loses power. Confidence doesn't fight doubt, it outlasts it. And oftentimes we think that confidence is something which builds slowly, but confidence is often installed in moments where you remain stable in situation where you previously would have collapsed. Those moments creates the core memory, and core memory then rewrites your state. That's why one moment of true confidence can outweigh years of insecurity. The internal state is not formed by time, it's formed by emotional intensity. And once state updates, behavior updates automatically. You don't try to be confident, you don't force to be confident, you don't remind yourself to be confident, you just are. And that's when the confidence becomes permanent. We often heard that competence builds confidence, but the truth is confidence builds the competence. And eventually, this confidence, it stops being something you think about, it becomes who you are. And then reality no longer has leverage over you. You don't rise when things go well, and you don't collapse when things goes wrong. You remain the same. That sameness is not numbness, it's stability. When your internal state is stable, reality has no resistance. And this is why internally stable people, they appear lucky, but they are not lucky, they are just coherent. So when confidence stabilizes, it becomes conviction, and when conviction stabilizes, reality organizes itself around it, and that is the end state. So confidence is not something you chase, it's something you stop giving away. The moment you stop outsourcing your internal state to the reality, reality loses its power over you. And that's when everything starts to move.